turning the end of an existing feature film, which is already protected in IP law, with some creator who's made it. That is theft. So today, when a Hansal sir says he wants to make a cooking show, I'm thrilled with it. Nobody knows that I put out close to 1,000 hours of content every week.
Really?
Nobody knows that I have 10 feature films in the pipe. Nobody knows that I have 5 OTT shows in the pipe. A lot of the big Malayalam writers have share in the profits of the film. That's not the case in Indian cinema.
Were you upset when Anurag lashed out? Vijay, welcome to the Hollywood Reporter India.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
This show is called The Titans, in which I speak to the titans of the film industry.
Wow.
And you are, of course, founder, group CEO of Collective Artists, which is an agency that runs, and I have the numbers here, manages 400 artists, 2 million creators, 3 million student creators.
Seems about right.
The brain
Scary
boggles.
when I also hear it. It's a bit of a brain fog, but yeah, seems about right.
Seems about right. And
as of this morning.
And in the interest of full transparency, Collective also reps me, though I'm sure I'm your worst client because I haven't made you money in like 10 years.
Well, I think there are two ways of defining a client. Either you earn a relationship or you earn money. I'm okay with either. So I'm fine. I'm not counting bean. I'm not the guy behind the bean counter all the time. So
all the time. Okay. So, Vijay, I'm saying let's get into the thorny stuff right away. Okay?
I love it. Thorny.
Yeah. So here's what really intrigues me. You are the architect of the careers of some of the biggest actors in this country, right? Collective reps, Deepika and Ranveer, Yash, Hrithik. I remember being on a cruise where we met. Do you remember that? This is not just something.
Yeah.
It's not like a thing on the side, right? You're really deeply invested in these people and where their careers go. But you're also a pioneer in AI storytelling.
Yeah.
You've launched Collective Studios, which has launched the Historyverse. Mahabharat Dharmayudh is already on Jio. There's a whole slate of AI-generated storytelling coming, including a theatrical film, Chiranjeevi Hanuman.
4 of them now.
4 of them. Unbelievable. So, on the one hand, and there's also a AI band, Trilok. There is, that's them. Amazing. And there is an AI mom influencer.
There's an AI mom influencer. There's an AI travel influencer. There's an AI billionaire. There is an AI ultra model.
Okay, so
and Ria has an AI avatar. We're launching an AI avatar of an author very, very soon, next week. So a bunch of things.
So Vijay, you're creating stars and you're replacing stars. How does this work?
Firstly, that's a big myth. And I'm on the right side of this discussion, I would say, for the last 8 months. Any piece of technology that's always come about has always disturbed incumbency.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, when social media came about, you remember the days where stars used to go to Jaipur and Jabalpur to cut a ribbon? That got replaced by an Instagram story. What we are building on our AI labs is nothing but a tool for creators to enhance their creativity, for actors to save time, and for actors to enlarge their lifespan. A lot of my actors will spend 100 hours a year doing photo shoots. If I do release that time, even by 30%, time is money, right? That's what technology enables you to. Are we in a place where we're saying we're going to replace actors? 100% no. I don't think that will happen 100 years from now.
Really?
I mean, animation came about when? It wasn't that easy to replace Julia Roberts with Frozen?
Yeah.
It wasn't, right? Was it that easy to replace Tom Cruise with Donald Duck? It wasn't, right? I mean, these are time immemorial evolution of technology, right? Chariots came in, internal combustion engine came in, chariot riders had to evolve. Email came in, courier services had to evolve. E-commerce came in, retail networks had to evolve. Quick commerce came in, Kinara stores had to evolve. You tell me the size of the graveyard of actors who would have had no work if it wasn't for Netflix, Amazon, and Jio.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's not obsess on this thing of a technology. Look, I have Hansal Mehta, Sanjay Puran Singh, who's a two-time National Award-winning director, Rajesh Mapuskar, who's a one-time National Award-winning director, Manu Anand, who's one of the country's biggest DOPs now, making Krishna. These are all my directors who are making these films. So, are they getting replaced by a prompt? The answer is hell no. I don't think people actually understand the engineering that it takes to actually build these projects. If you actually come over to our Bangalore studios, sit with our Bangalore tech team, what you will realize is this is a tool that has been made by the creators who have enhanced creativity. I mean, we're talking about building features like camera lensing, camera depth. These are not tools that you can prompt in. You know, my CTO says this in the best possible way. The most limiting tool for AI is actually the language of English, because English cannot get it. So if it was that easy to prompt, I think nobody will have a job today. So I think it's a little bit of a misnomer. I just launched, say, Ria's AI avatar, and it's building a character of her inner voice and her inner soul, which she was too scared to put out otherwise.
This is Ria?
Chakrabarti.
Okay.
Right? And you will see a lot of this happen. Just as how the advent of social media rights gave to another layer of monetization. Just as how the advent of Netflix and Amazon gave people the opportunity to monetize content through digital sales. This is another avenue. It's not going to be replacing, it's going to be enabling. I think people are just too fixated on this being an encounter rather than an embrace. This is an embrace. I have filmmakers. I have Lavanya Agarwal, who's a fresh student, who's a first year graduate from Whistling Woods, who's come on and made Mahabharat. Debatra Ghosh and Sujan Sengupta are the composers behind Trilok. Trilok is not an AI band. Trilok is a live band, real composers. It's just that production becomes easier using tools. How is it any different than, you remember back in the day where Lakshmikant Pyarelal ji would book an orchestra of 100 people. That got replaced by a patch on Sound Logic or Logic Pro or Fruity Loops in recording enhancements. So today, when a music composer says, I want E minor with a 100-piece string section, that's a patch. Now, did the orchestra Dada lose his job, or did he get lesser studio sessions? Of course he did. So really, Anu, I think a lot is being blown out of proportions. I am in the thick of it. And I'm probably the only voice who's gone out and said, we are doing it, not about to do it, and we're putting stuff out. And we are seeing how much it's increasing the pool of creativity. Is technology there yet? 100% no. Technology evolves over a period of time. But unless the powers that be, the governments across the world, decide to say that this is not going to be used anymore, people have to wake up and understand this is not the future. This is the present.
Sure.
By denying yourself the present, you're going to just delay it for the future. So I'm very clear about it. So really, I would urge everyone to come over to Bangalore. Literally do like an excursion of 10 producers, 10 studios, 10 people who want to learn and actually see what we're building. Rajesh sir is right now in Bangalore building Hanuman with that team.
So tell me, since you've had such a front row to what stardom means, especially in the Hindi film industry, right? What happens to the notion of stardom? Anyway, there's been a lot of conversation that in Hindi cinema, in the South, it's still intact and fan armies are still very, very invested. But in Hindi cinema, it's fraying. Social media has really, made people too accessible. The box office has been too inconsistent. What is your take on what happens to Hindi film stars?
I think stardom has become democratized. You are talking, and it's in a way nice, right? Today, would you consider, I don't know, Bhuvan Bam a star? To his audience, he is.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think stardom is going anywhere as long as content can penetrate audiences. Look at what Dhurandhar has done. Right? Can you question Ranveer Singh's stardom after that? Absolutely not. For that matter, what Sayyara did. Right? So I think stars will glitter. It depends on how many stars in the galaxy will glitter, right? I think the problem that we are facing is the fact that the distance between two consecutive blockbusters is so large. It's become an all or nothing market, right? If a film does well, it's 1,000 crores plus. I mean, remember pre-pandemic, we used to be, okay, 100 crore maregi. Aur hum log khush ho jate the. Today, 100 crore film, I don't think exists. I think it's either 50, 60 crores, 30, 40 crores, or it's 1,000 crores, 600 crores, 700 crores.
But do you see that as a problem, Vijay? Because I do.
I see that as a huge problem, because the problem that's happening is the big are becoming bigger.
Yeah.
The mid has become small, and the small has disappeared. That's the absolute truth of the matter. One of the main things I am solving, I'm not solving for the big, because I don't think you can ever really take away the sheen of India's top 3 cricketers, India's top 3 actors, India's top 3 actresses. I think Deepika was a star today, Deepika was a star yesterday, she'll be a star forever, right? But I think what I'm really solving for is the mid and the small, because that's where the industry has taken a solid hit.
Yeah.
Do I see that recovering? I personally don't. I'm betting big in technology because I feel the problem there is we don't have enough material that's cutting through. The fundamental issue that you have in the Hindi movie industry is if your biggest writer is capped on his upside, what is the incentive for anyone to tell a story? If the stars and the directors are going to be the absolute recipient, that's different in Malayalam, right?
Yeah.
If you see Malayalam writers, a lot of the big Malayalam writers have share in the profits of the film. That's not the case in Indian cinema. So what we've done actually, with a small, beautiful company we've acquired called Terribly Tiny Tales,
Yeah.
Anuj, who's the founder, and we've decided that, we are going to incentivize writers on the upside of profits, because actually what is selling? It's the stories that are selling.
Absolutely.
If you see even the big blockbusters, 95% of the big blockbusters have been writer-directors.
Yeah.
Aditya Dhar, writer-director. Sukumar, writer-director. Rajmouli sir has been working with that same gang and his father for writing for. So, I can name very few films where the director is not a writer and has done north of 500 crores. So, where is the problem? The problem is in the writing.
Yeah.
The problem is in the source material. Today, if I'm 23 years old, what is incentivizing me to write a film? Because if you say I'm capped at 2 crores as a fee, and the biggest writer of this country will make 3 to 4 crores, and there's no parity when it comes to say what the director will make or what the actor will make, I think a problem lies there.
So how are you changing it?
I think what we're doing is through all of these stuff whatever I told you through TTT, through Collective Studios, if you see where the focus on the production is lying, it's lying on only emerging films. So we have a standard rule. 80% of the studio will operate at films around 25 crores of cost, which means we will never be able to afford a star.
Right.
We will never be able to afford that times A+ director. So invariably we'll give rise to a new director, or a director looking for a fresh lease of life, or a director in his 2.0, or a writer who has a story to tell, or a book right that we can book rights. Yeah. Tell me something. Where are the days of book rights getting adapted gone? So if you look at the Historyverse, everything in the Historyverse that we're building on technology is from an ancient text.
Yeah.
It's either somebody's interpretation of Bhagat Singh, it's either the Ramayan's holy text. We're not deviating from written matter. So our source is the written matter, and from there, what we're doing is we're launching newer writers. We have first-time editors, first-time music composers. Most of our directors are excited to see the next 20 years of movie telling through this. It's a beautiful anecdote I had with Rajesh sir in the AI summit, where he looked at me and he said, I wasn't sure initially, but now that I'm getting into it, I can see my possibilities. I can actually create the Vanar Sena I want. Right? And I'm not dependent on going for a budget. So look what that's done. Here's a man, you worked with him.
Yeah.
Rajesh sir has been in the industry for so long, but he shows up every day like an excited first-time director. And that's happened because today I don't think there is a limit to his imagination. That's my point. So I think the only thing that I will do is I will use these companies and the production network to only unearth either fresh talent or talent looking for another chapter. If you're already big, we're too small for you. So my thesis is on on extremities of this. So, and I think they're easier, commercially more viable. I think gone are the days where you'll get 100 crore check to make a film by a one-liner.
Yeah.
I think those days are over.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the industry is now waking up to it. And I just genuinely believe that there will always be a place of big cinema. It's just that I think the frequency of that big cinema won't be as high as it was pre-pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me, is there no world in which, given that you have the ear of the top stars in this country, is there no way to convince them to do riskier material?
They've done it. I think, see, what is risky? I mean, today, a story about a timber trading in some corner of Andhra Pradesh.
Oh, that's definitely, yeah.
It's risky.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
A story about a real story when you're actually, otherwise, you're glorified with Hayabusas and, high-end super bikes and Ray-Ban and Oakleys for spies, talking about a real spy.
Sure, that was
grounded
risky
spy,
too.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
So what is not risky? I mean, it's movie business at the end of the day, at some point in time, is a gamble, right? It's a roulette business. It's your conviction at that point in time to say a story or to act in a story. And in our case, what is it? It's my undying faith in the very, like I personally as an agent don't work with very many people. I work with only 3 or 4 clients. And for me, my undying faith is it'll happen. It's that constant positive reaffirmation. And that's how I guess, you look at what Sir made. I mean, did you guys think 12th fail will be what it be? I mean, how do you predict that?
Yeah, you don't.
You really can't, right? At that point in time, you are backing it on the trifecta of gut, your ability in your own talent, and just putting in the work. So I think if you ask me, people have tried riskier material and that's what's worked. I don't think formulaic stuff has worked. I don't think today a formula love story works. You look at the track record of every single film that's done well. There's been some syntax in that film which has just been so new and fresh. Like, people didn't think they'll sit for 4 hours for 2 straight films, right? They did. They gave it the love that nobody else expected. Yeah. And I think that's what it was.
Tell me, when you launched Collective Studios, did any of your talent express any concern?
Not at all. In fact, yeah, I think on this AI side of things, right, people are constantly confusing what AI can do because the narrative in adjacent industries has been doom spelling.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In our industry, please understand the difference between a pharmaceutical company or an infrastructure company that's making roads and bridges and a creative industry is, I don't think AI can ever replace a screenplay draft, a dialogue draft. I don't think AI can train comic timing. Or even if it is, we are years away from it. So today, for all those watching the show, everybody should know Mahabharat has 130 people employed. There is a costume designer on Hanuman. There is a production designer. There's somebody who's imagining Lanka, who's imagining Hastinapur, who's imagining the Pushpak Vahan. These are all production designers, costume designers, DOPs, actual film crew that's making this stuff. So I think people reacted out of the fear of the commentary of the doom AI has. Nobody really understood it. Now they're understanding. Hence, the filmmakers are the way they are. I mean, next week, I would have spoken about it this week if we had launched it. Next week, we're going to announce probably one of the most famous authors in India letting go of his, coming on with a digital double, right? Now, WGA, SAG, these are authors striking, right? Writers striking. But I'm not for taking material, but you can enlarge your scope so much more. And that's what people need to understand, Anu. That's what people are not understanding. So it's not a threat. I repeatedly say this. It's not a threat.
No, you've been from the beginning. You said that it's what's going to take us, and I'm embracing the future rather than fighting it. Were you upset when Anurag lashed out?
Was I upset when Anurag lashed out? Yes, because I think I've known the guy. He also in the same post said he's a friend. I think a call could have been nice. But look, we're in the entertainment business. You're not doing something if you're not pissing people off, right? So I think anything disruption comes with, and I'm very clear about this, Anu. I think I've spent 18, 19 years doing this, and I take these bold steps on behalf of my clients also. It is the era of dreaming, daring, and doing. If you don't have fear, if you come from a place of fear, I'm not operating collective from a place of fear. I'm operating collective from a place of possibilities. I'm operating collective from a punt on the world that will be, not the world that is. So in that journey, do I anticipate many more naysayers? Answer is 100% yes. But I'm a guy from Bangalore who's come here, and we are where we are at today by just concentrating on the work at hand and seeing where the market could go.
Yeah.
If we were relying on past data, there's a lot of things we shouldn't do. I shouldn't be having a venture capital fund. Nikhil and I started the Gruhas Collective Consumer Fund to back emerging young startups. And through that, I've given opportunities to many of my clients getting into the investment game and actually having a skin on the upside in consumer India. Nobody did that before us. Similarly with production, I'm not here to produce films. I'm here to actually figure out how do we get out of this current rut we are in.
Correct.
Right? Then let's call it out. It's a rut. We all can meet in fancy coffee houses and dinner parties and say, oh, look, the industry is here. Well, who's doing something about it?
Yeah.
This is my way of answer. I'm silently operating. Nobody knows that I put out close to 1,000 hours of content every week.
Really?
Nobody knows that I have 10 feature films in the pipe. Nobody knows that I have 5 OTT shows in the pipe. Nobody knows that I have a media network that's constantly, like Trilok puts out a song a week. Sanatani Itihas puts out 700 bhajans. There's a full-fledged music label sitting there. So these are things that I'm waiting for the impact to speak. I'm sitting here and talking to you about AI only after I've put Mahabharat out.
Yeah.
Only after Hanuman's been announced. Only after the Historyverse slate has been announced. So I think कर लो और फिर लोग देखेंगे, because for me the biggest endorsement of this being the future is the 4 directors I'm working with, and I don't think any of them are green. They're all people who've turned grey in the business. They've seen many cycles of it. So today when a Hansal sir says he wants to make a cooking show, I'm thrilled with it. And when Rajesh sir is so excited, I'm thrilled with it. So yeah, I mean, more than naysayers means more the work is actually working.
Absolutely. Listen, whatever brings in new talent, whatever brings in great stories is all good, right? But Vijay, last year you had that Raanjhanaa episode, right?
That's wrong, Anu.
Correct.
That is wrong.
We're fully on board that this was, I agree, Eros has the IP, but it just, in terms of creativity, it's just so wrong to take something and change it. And Dhanush said that, Anand Rai said that, but it was done, right? My question, Vijay, is, in the West, in Hollywood, you talked about the actors and the writers, right? Both the Actors Guild and the Writers Guild went on strike. They've created industry-wide policies on the use of AI, on who gets compensated in what way. What are the sort of guardrails? Who is creating guardrails here?
I think they're being created.
By who?
I don't know. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I am saying a version of the Ramayana that belongs to the country of India.
Yeah.
I'm not infringing on anyone's personal space. So I'm not making a love story. I'm not making a thriller. So my whole thing actually adds up to answer your question. I've not faced it because I'm talking about Indian history.
Sure.
So my work is all derived from public works. I talk about Indian history because I'm in consistent anger and rage that we are the treasure trove of the largest stories in the world. And we've not done a good job of showcasing it. Why has that happened? Because to make one magnum opus epic, you'll take 6-7 years. I thought to myself, the only way of creating impact is, how do I get my daughter, my son, to actually look at Hanuman's Gada the way they'd look at Thor's hammer, right? That's public works. That Gada belongs to all of us, right? So I actually don't know. Let me rephrase it. I'm completely aligned with, if it's absolute, what do you call IP infringement, where you're taking someone else's work and twisting it.
Yeah.
That's wrong. There's no right or wrong to it. That should be penalized. That should not be allowed. But what we are building, and that's why I said I don't have a point of view on it, because that's the reason why I have not ventured into those spaces. The reason even the music I'm composing is public works music. Akshatam Keshavam belongs to everybody. Om Jai Jagadish belongs to everybody. And when we are making our own songs, we're making it like we're composing it as composers. And then we are running pipes and engines to derive the production for it. But I think people are constantly equating the two wrong sides. Launching an AI creator is not infringing someone's rights.
No, I get
Right?
that. I absolutely get that.
Turning the end of an existing feature film, which is already protected in IP law, with some creator who's made it, that is theft. There's nothing right about it.
No, but they own that IP, right? Eros owns the IP.
Then okay, then let's put it this way, right? Eros owns the IP. It's ethically wrong
Exactly.
to twist the ending of a maker.
Yeah.
But the maker has given away his rights.
Yeah.
But it's ethically wrong.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. It's
Yeah.
like, back in the day, how many songs do you and I know that have been lifted?
Of course.
Is it right? Absolutely not. Do all of you dance at it in a party? Absolutely yes. So I think moralities and ethics are right. I think it should not be allowed. But AI is not that. I think people are constantly misconstruing the plagiarism that's happened with 2-3 case studies as a generality of everything that happens in the system.
Correct. But again, I ask Vijay, who's going to create the rules for this landscape?
I'm saying it's happening, right? Today, recently, we are supposed to disclose 10% of X amount of content is made on AI. Those guidelines are coming into place, like the advertising standards. You'll have guidelines come in. But I think the technology has been so fresh. I think people will develop this over time. This technological advancement has happened in 5 years, when something of similar seismic activity would have taken, it took 15 years for social media to hit it, right? I mean, remember Orkut started.
Yeah.
ICQ was the first chat. It took 20 years for social media to come where it is today. I think people will figure it out. But till then, as creators, I can't speak for anybody else except myself. As creator, I'm only interested in talking about stories which are clean from their rights point of view.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm not infringing a love story which could, so many tragic love stories of two musicians are the same across the world. Right? I mean, you look at Ashki, you look at most of, it's the same stories that are there everywhere in the world. So many times you're inspired by those works. But blatant plagiarism is not cool. There's no argument there.
AI is trained on Western data sets. How do you get past that?
AI is trained, today a lot of so what we are doing is, we are lucky enough to have a lot of the large LLMs open up their pipes for us to fine tune those models. So what we are in a position to do when we are fine tuning some of these models is, we are in a position to bring in stuff which we can avoid, I won't say plagiarism, where we are clear that the underlying material is maybe inspired by but not referenced by. Right? So today, for example, if I'm building a forest, there are 100 languages of 100 forests in the world, right? We choose to make a forest and tune the model based on what we want.
Yeah.
As a director's vision. Does he want more flora and fauna? Does he want less flora and fauna? So at the end of the day, it's still the director's vision. So it's, like I said, it's not a prompt. So everything that you see us produce, the number one thing, I think you can prompt a 30-second reel, but to make a full-length piece of content, it takes a lot. Like I remember this morning we were talking about just one leap of Hanuman. Now it's taken us to fine-tune those models. Some stuff is not available. Like you can't show blood and gore. You have to sit and work on those materials, build R&D pipelines. We're in fact working very, very closely with Microsoft and their entire R&D and engineering team to help us build this with our engineering team. So it's a lot of tech work and it's a lot of deep work. So I think people understand this purely by reading news. But I can tell you today, when we build Hastinapur, that Hastinapur doesn't exist inside a model. We've had to tune it basis the 100 other references we have, which is true for most. When I've seen composers sitting and, I wanted to sound like another brick in the wall. It's no different.
Correct.
It's no different.
Yeah.
I want that bass line to sound like Come As You Are. It's no different. You're always being inspired by something or the other.
But Vijay, tell me this. So far, at least, the visuals we've seen that are entirely AI generated feel very synthetic.
100%.
Right? The lip movement is very awkward. The eyes are dead. How long do you think before we fix that?
Great question. And we knew all of this when we see every single piece of material we put out there. I can tell you from our experience with the films from the shows, what we did in Mahabharat season 1 and what we're doing in Mahabharat season 2, if I shoot the same episode with the current pipelines, you will see the stark difference. Because he understood, again, I'm not a tech guy, but my tech guys keep telling me this: AI doesn't understand physics. It's a fundamental issue. They don't
What does
understand
that
depth.
mean? Oh,
So if
right.
you want to see depth in eyes,
Right.
it needs. Today I saw a beautiful sequence from a film we are making, where a character was hurting, was having an inner battle with himself in a film, in one of the mythological films we're making. And it required him to retrospectively sit inside a cave and look inward. Damn difficult. But it took Rajesh, sir, I think a week to get that 1 5 second thing right.
Yeah.
So you have to keep training it. Maybe sometimes you have to shoot it, get expression transfers made, motion capture an actor in a space like this, just shoot his expression and just transfer the expression. AI is not all there yet. It's far away from saying today, can I build a 3-hour feature film with zero human intervention? You cannot. I'm telling you, being the guy who's producing the most amount of this content in the country today. But what is it cracking? It's cracking worlds. It's cracking ecosystems. Today, if I want to shoot the galaxy, it's cracking it as well as the leading VFX company would. It's cracking flight. It's cracking fantasy really well. But if you want to do a courtroom drama, that's what it's not able to do yet.
Right.
If you want to do like a rom-com, that's not. If you want to do a joint family story inside the confines of a home, it can't do that yet. So it's not yet matched the drama and the emotion of it. So we're figuring hacks. We're doing everything from we have set up I think the country's first AI physical studio in Bangalore. It's a whitewash. It's just white walls. So we're doing motion capture. We have our own way of now sitting with teams and fine tuning the models, whether it is models from across the world. So I think today in our model garden, what we call it in our tool, we have more than 150 models, language models, that the agent decides which one to use for a particular shot. So I may decide to use VO from duration 0 to 15. And from 15 to 1 minute, it may move to hypothetically seed dance. So it's agent, the tool is getting better. They're
Right.
learning better.
Right.
It's getting smarter. Of course, that's at times scary, but it will happen any which ways. But I think we are still hacking a lot of stuff like expression, emotion, depth, interaction. That stuff is still being hacked. I don't think AI is not there yet.
Talking about scary, I don't know if you saw it, but the New Yorker published a very extensive and damning piece on Sam Altman, who is, of course, the head of OpenAI, who then sort of wrote in a blog post about what he felt, and he talked about how this is something like this is perhaps the most sort of the biggest change we're ever going to see in society, and he said we have to get our safety right. So, Vijay, how do we get this safety right? That's the question that keeps sort of coming back to me.
If I could answer that, I would be a head of state, or I would probably be a tech tycoon. I can't answer that, right? I think here's what it is. AI is a simple rule. You have the infrastructure layer, which is data centers. You have the model layer, which is 80% of it is not in India yet. And then you have the product layer. The product layer uses these two layers to build a product on. We are playing in the product layer.
Yeah.
When you talk about guidelines and rules, it's about the language layer and the infrastructure layer that have to bring that into existence. Because today, what is G5, our studio? It's nothing but an operating system for films. It's like Microsoft Windows. You come, so we are giving you Microsoft Windows. Now, Microsoft Word and PowerPoint, they have to fight that because we are only giving the platform. Right? We are not creating the model. So today, I'm not creating a model I'm not creating an LLM. Right? I'm creating a product on top of multiple LLMs.
Sure. So they have to figure
that out. I think today, if I'm, say, for example, using VO is one of my 100 tools. So I'm training on data that VO has. Yeah. That's a Google problem. It's not a me problem, right? Today, it's like me acting. So think of it this way. I'm playing a role in a film. Now, it's for my producer to figure out whether he's got the IP or not on that particular segment. So I think the reason why I refrain from that is I don't think I'm knowledgeable enough to answer that question. I don't think anyone who's in the product layer is knowledgeable enough, because they are working on data sets that the language models are providing. And what we are doing to ensure it's authenticated in originality is we're tuning those models. We're working it on our scripts. So today what I can tell you, even if you do an audit, is you will not see a single thing inside where any of my directors would have said, that scene in that film, I just want that shot here.
Right.
That has never happened.
Right. Right.
That is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, directors are making it.
Yeah.
So abhi Hastinapur ka palace, 100 people have made it. Now, I have not said that, from Ramanand Sagar's times, there was this pillar in Ramayana he had used. Get me that pillar.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. That is something we are putting in our own checks and controls, because we'll be called up for it. So I just feel that question is more at a policy layer.
Yeah.
That question is more at the model and the infrastructure layer, and then we as product applicants will deal with it later.
Okay. Here's a question you can answer, because you described.
I did answer that question, by the way. It's not like
you did.
Yeah.
You did.
I just said I was not smart enough to answer that question.
You described collective artists as the reliance of creators. Explain that.
I don't think I've ever been more fascinated by any other human being in my life than Mukesh Bhai. I think he is my absolute North Star in terms of ambition, because whenever, I think there are some people you look at and you'll just say that, okay, the dream could have ended there. It needn't have gone here. Now that it's gone here, it could have ended here. It needn't have gone further. But it's limitlessness. It's the limitlessness of that ethos that I've completely bought into, and I love it. Right? I genuinely love it. So what's my theory? My theory is literally everything and anything in this current studio setup will be available outside of the oxygen that we're breathing. Probably will be available in some part of Reliance, including the electricity that you're running. That's what I meant. So if there is a place of impact for you as a creator, collective should have some vessel to deliver that impact. So we have to be omnipotent and omnipresent in a creator's life. Hence a fund, hence the startup business, hence technology, hence management, hence creating a sales unit, a marketing services unit, a licensing unit, a production unit. Because if you look at a creator, how many ways can you skin the cat?
Yeah.
Right? Literally that's my question. And that's what, and I think for me, working with, say for example, with Trilok, which is a creator we created, and now we're building as a live band, as a rock band. They're no longer AI for those who are listening. Trilok is a live act. I've realized that, okay, how many ways can I skin it? Can I make a movie out of it? Can I do IP and online out of it? Can I do a merchandising play on it? Can I do a collaboration with a global artist on it? We started this Legend series, right, where we brought back Sadhna Sargam ji and Anup Jalota ji to do two rock bhajans with us. So it literally is that. It's like, if you are a creator, where is the one place you can go where you have the resources to do everything you may want to do?
Sure.
You may not do everything.
Yeah.
But at least, like,
it's there.
I may not want to buy that bulb, but I know I can go to some part of the Reliance ecosystem to buy that bulb. That's what I mean. That's in one line. Be omnipotent to the life of a creator. Because I think Mukesh Bhai is omnipotent to a life of an Indian consumer.
Yeah. 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 Okay. One last question. What do you think happens in Hindi cinema in the next 2 to 3 years?
Why are you so fixated on Hindi cinema?
I'm not at all.
Why the partiality? Cinema is cinema.
Of course it is.
I think we're well beyond it.
Absolutely.
I think today there is no construct like Pan India, South India. Today films are films.
Yeah,
and
completely.
If you ask me a question on films, I'd rather be interested in answering that, because I think this divide that we've created about Bollywood versus X-Wood versus
No, it's not versus. It's because I see you as sort of controlling the nuts and bolts.
We're not controlling anything.
Okay.
I'm a key part of the ecosystem.
Key part of the ecosystem, right? And sort of moving the nuts and bolts here in Mumbai, which is why I asked about Hindi cinema. My life is now thankfully moved far beyond. So that's why I ask about Hindi cinema. Like, what do you, because you're here and because there's so much that you're sort of, you like are plugged into, what do you see happening here in the next 2 to 3 years?
I think there'll be a complete change of guard in the way content is being made.
In what way?
Budgets, who is making it. I think I won't be held popular for saying this, but I think there are no fixed origins from where a successful story will come from.
Of course.
It doesn't have to confine itself within 4 pin codes of Andheri, Bandra and Juhu. I think it'll go well beyond it. I think if I look at most of the directors that have really peaked, have been directors who had an independent idea and have made something out of it. So it's not come out of an existing system of a studio or existing system of a production house. I think you look at what, say, Aditya has done with Dhurandhar, and you look at, of course, Jyoti backed it to the hilt, but you look at the rise. See, look at the content now. B62 has managed to put together. I don't think that was a thing in 2019, right? But today, that's a thing. I think Historyverse wasn't a thing. Today, it's a thing. If I have, hypothetically, say, even 100 crores of financing coming into it, that's 100 crores of a new genre that's created that did not exist. So I feel what's going to happen is people are going to, I think today you're going to have stories come out of multiple sources. So I don't think today I can say that, yeah, मेरे को इसकी picture करनी है, या मेरे को इस producer के साथ काम करना है. I think that's a little passé.
Really?
Yeah.
Then how do they? So then.
I think today it's story first.
So your actors will read script and then decide. Yeah. Not कि वो पहले पूछ रहे थे ना banner क्या है, all of that.
That should always be the case.
हाँ.
But I think it's definitely content out and not setup out. मतलब setup क्या है बोलना, कौन कर रहा है?
Correct.
I don't think that's a thing anymore, because I think setups today are not as relevant as the content.
Yeah.
And I think most people are. I realize that in talent management. I keep telling my talent team that, listen, if you're going to stick to this one-trick pony of doing endorsements and live shows and casting, that's now become BAU.
What is BAU?
Business as usual.
Right.
For me, if any agent comes to me and says, I did this, yaar, I'm like, हाँ,
ये तो है ही.
ये तो है ही, ये तो तुम्हारा base expectation है.
हाँ.
और क्या किया?
Right.
What is the moonshot? What's the X factor? What's the North Star? What can you do that the creator didn't think he will do for himself? So that's my push to talent management. So because what is your number one role as an agent? Can you dream a dream for your talent, which probably at times will be bigger than the talent has for himself or herself, right? Similarly, when they come onto a film set, today I think the democratization of where the next hit is coming from is outstanding. It's giving everyone an opportunity.
Yeah.
And it's giving everyone a voice. And I feel that's really the beauty about it. What I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, it's a great thing.
I look at Manoj Bajpayee, I look at Jaideep Alawat, and I see these careers. It wouldn't have happened without a streamer, right? Yeah. Now, did they replace a mainline actor or did they get added to the ecosystem? I feel it was the ulta. It was accretive. It didn't take away from anything.
Yeah. I mean, there's no limitation on how many great actors you can have.
Yeah, so today, as collective studios, I'm not worried about who's pitching to me. I'm like TTT, for example. They made a living of making short form content for 11 years. Now they are on the biggest platform with multiple shows. They're going to do their first theatrical this year. Now, I just saw, okay, do you have a story to tell? I'm not some great guy to pick out a script, but I'm definitely probably one of the better guys to figure out human beings. So if you have that in your belly, then that's what I'm looking for. What is the energy that you can come with? If you can come with कि ये मैं करके ही रहूँगा, then I'd rather back that guy. अब तू कुछ भी बना, तू बना, we'll be with you.
Yeah.
So I think the setup days, I think, are over.
How do you pick stars to represent?
I don't. I mean, today, the agency is big enough, Anu.
Of course
each of them do what they do. I'm very happy with where I'm at. For me, it's only two criteria. I think, can you create, there are three phases like a startup, right? It's 0 to 1, 1 to 100, and then 100 to staying at 100 before going to 1,000.
Yeah.
So I usually want to come in at those switchover points in someone's life. Either you're getting launched or you're going right up to the top, or now that you're at the top, how do you climb a bigger peak?
Scale up, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think there's no formula per se. I can't tell you that I mean, for all the viewers who are listening to this, one of my biggest inspirations in this has been reading who is Michael Ovitz. Right? And Michael Ovitz was the founder of CAA, the godfather of agenting in the world. And I think that book gave me so many insights on just how, how a casual dinner with Robert De Niro, where he said, "I like Asian food," led to the rise of Nobu. Something as small as that, right? So, how Top Gun happened, how did Jurassic Park happen, right? And so I think when I look at any talent, if you're a talent, matlab, you have infinite possibilities. What can we do in that? That's really the question.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't want to be a broker.
Correct.
That's the way I want to put it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because for brokers, there are enough options out there who can do it for you.
Yeah. You're a little bigger than that.
No, a little deeper.
Deep.
I wouldn't say bigger. I think it could be someone else who could do a better job.
Yeah.
But I'd like to look at it with more a long-term lens than just a cash flow lens.
Nice. Nice. Thank you so much, Vijay. And I cannot wait to see what all you do with all the AI.
Thank you.
That you're unleashing, all those stories that are being unleashed, and all the creators.
Yep. I mean, I'll keep sharing stuff with you as and when it comes out.
Please do.
And then we'll have a conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.